everybody! Once again, my shirts have not been ironed, and this week I have been tinkering around with Rayman 3D. Oh yeah. So can I please get an intro now? So, Rayman 3D. Wow, where do I even begin with this one? Okay, I'll start off very simply. This game, basically, is more or less a 3D remake of the somewhat PlayStation 1 classic, Rayman 2: The Great Escape. As for Rayman 2 itself, what do I think about it? It looks great, it sounds great, it controls great, the music is fantastic, but the combat is laughably unchallenging and the game itself is too fucking easy. It's quick and easy to finish, lives are unlimited, health is too plentiful, checkpoints are too frequent, and it's even easier to finish the game 100%. And unfortunately, I personally would not call it a PS1 classic because of that fact. The game was just too easy for me, and it really did suck me out of everything else fantastic that the game actually did. However, I still think that the game is really good, but you know, I'll just save that for another video. However, where Rayman 2 seemed to disappoint me once or twice here and there, all of these problems were addressed and perfected, in my opinion, in the PS2 reimagining of this game, Rayman Revolution. Oh my god, I love this game, and I love everything that it revamped and adapted into the next generation. I loved the open world exploring and the lack of stage selections, I loved the additional segments, I loved the visual styles, I loved how much darker and grittier it was, and more importantly, over everything, I loved the additional challenge that the game presented to me. As far as I'm concerned, contradictory to other people's opinions, this game is one of the best reboots I have ever played in my life, and seriously, you should go get it. And now we got all that out of the way, let's talk about Rayman 3D. When I bought this game, I was just having a little walk around through the High Wycombe HMV, and I just saw this game, just as you do, just sitting on the shelf, just there. I then picked it up and had a look at the back of the box, and I could see lots and lots and lots, I don't know if you can see anything there because of the light, it's pretty bad in here, but you could see lots and lots of like familiar level screenshots, very, very reminiscent of Rayman 2. So then I figured, well shit, this is going to be a 3D and portable Rayman 2, and what if, actually, after the hugeness and just giant magnitude of Ocarina of Time 3D with its huge open world exploration and how good it looked in 3D and being portable, what if this is a portable and 3D remake of Rayman Revolution? Yes. I said that out loud in the shops. And I've got to say, I was completely hyped. And then I noticed the price of the game. £8. £8. For a 3DS game, brand new on the shelf, that's extremely good value, almost too good to be true. And no, don't ask me if it was in the pre-owned section, it said on the sticker, brand new, £8. I got suckered in, and then after going home and playing it for 15 minutes, I then completely understood why it was so cheap. And that is because this game, along with many other things, is more or less unfinished and broken. But before I go into all of that stuff, what do I like about the game first? Well, at first, before you start, moving around, the game actually looks pretty damn good in 3D. The environments and the character models are all very, very nice and crisp and refined, maybe even rivaling Rayman Revolution. Also, the levels have been lovingly revamped and adapted, and especially in the 3D. And even for the nostalgic quality, this game is solely worth it just to play through all of these familiar levels in 3D. On a portable basis as well. The controls aren't too bad either, so I've got no complaints there. But then, as soon as you start running around, this is when the disappointments pop up. I think the best way to do this is just to list everything because there's just so much I want to talk about and I don't want to go on for all day, so I'm just going to talk about it all now in one gap. Firstly, there is no voice acting and the music sometimes sounds like complete crap in the higher frequencies of the score. Yeah, that's a fucking issue. If Ocarina of Time can have an amazing musical score and Resident Evil Revelations have high quality, be it cheesy, voice acting, it's simply inexcusable. Secondly, this game's frame rate is awful. It rarely, and I mean rarely, plays smoothly. It's always jumping about left, right, front and centre and slowing down, with or without the 3D active. And when you do have the 3D active and you're looking at this frame rate, it sometimes gets fucking sickly. And once or twice in the story, this game even froze on me for like about 2 seconds, but it froze on me due to the smallest things on screen. I mean, what's that about? Thirdly, it turns out that the 3D sometimes isn't even actually that well executed in places. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and it gives you two very distinctive layers and your eyes can't adjust to it. And, well, okay, sometimes it does work. I mean, in fact, most of the time it works. And the environments do look awesome in 3D, I'll give it that. But just sometimes the 3D is hurtful to the eyes. Whoops, my camera just died on me, so sorry if the angle's different. Whatever, you'll get over it. Yes, sorry if I seem a bit oblivious and idiotic over here, but this game made me discover that some titles on the 3DS are better at doing the 3D in the game than others. I didn't know that. I thought that all the games would have the same effect, but nope, if you play Rayman 3D, you'll see exactly what I mean. Sometimes it just gives you two distinct layers of images and your eyes just can't match up with it. And lastly, there are actually no additions from the old game, and nothing has been implemented, changed, or even adapted to meet the needs of portability, and even sometimes in the 3D enhancements. Which actually goes into another point which just popped up into my head, and that is that this is simply nothing more than a remake of Rayman 2 with no meat to it. I mean, when I saw the back of the box for this and saw the screenshots, yes, I knew the levels, obviously, but there was no distinction between Rayman 2 or Rayman Revolution, and I had every right to assume that this could have been Rayman Revolution 3D. I mean, for fuck's sake, I mean, after Ocarina of Time, of all things, you guys, you've played it, you've seen it, how the magnitude of it, just how huge the fucking world is, and how beautiful it actually looks, and just the scale of it, it's just insane, and they've managed to fit it all into a small little cartridge. So, do you know what? I had every right to assume that they could have done the massive open world exploration and walking to every objective through beautiful environments in the forests and everywhere, and the cliffsides and everything in Rayman Revolution. They could have done that. I don't understand why they didn't. It doesn't compute for me. For me, it would have been a fucking no-brainer, but for whatever reason, they didn't decide to do that, and I'm going to shut up now. It's just something I have to question Ubisoft about, because it was either that they were too lazy to do it, which I don't know, they couldn't do it due to software limitations, but if the system couldn't work, then fair enough, but I'd just like to know why it couldn't work, but if not, then I just don't understand why they didn't go down that route, or if they didn't have any time for it, why didn't they put more time into it? It could have been something amazing, and do you know what, that's probably just the most disappointing thing about this game for me. And so, after having a little bit of a tinker with a Rayman 3D, I think I would probably say that it was disreputable. I mean, please don't get me wrong, for the last couple of minutes it does sound like I've just been shitting all over this game down here on the floor that I'm standing on. And it does sound like I've been shitting all over it and just calling it horrendous, but to be honest, it isn't that awful, to be honest. It isn't even that bad. It's not the worst game ever made, not even the worst 3DS game ever made. But for me, it's just a huge, monumental letdown, and that is why I've been highlighting every single little thing that I've found really fucking annoying about it. I mean, in my eyes, it just looks too damn lazy, and there's nothing really that I can tell you that's worth playing about it. It just does feel like a near broken and near pointless cash-in for the 3DS, and to be honest, there's no real reason you should own it. I mean, if you want a better way to play Rayman 2 portably, then why not just get the PSN download and play Rayman 2 directly from your PS Vita? Or hell, you can do the same thing on the fucking PSP. So it just makes no sense to me. Any method is undoubtedly infinitely better than this. And to be honest, even though the 3D was nice sometimes, the controls were nice enough, and the nostalgia factor is there, and, you know, obviously reliving some of these levels and jumping through them in 3D portability, it's sometimes really fun. There's nothing actually added to the game itself, and there's far too many shitty things about it. Like everything I listed earlier, just watch from the fucking beginning again. There's so much wrong with this game. It's just not worth playing if you're a Rayman 2 fan, or even a Rayman fan in general. But you know what, I don't know, this is just my opinion, so you know, you can play it yourself if you want to. And don't get me wrong, it's not the worst game out there, not even the worst game for the 3DS, but it just still feels so fucking lazy, and it really, really, really shows. And let me just say, there was a definite reason why this game was £8 brand new, and to be honest, if I had paid anything more than that, then this game down here would have been easily flammable. Farewell everybody, and until next time, take care.